So over the last couple of weeks, I've almost exclusively been casting professional matches of StarCraft 2, and the reason for that, of course, is that the new multiplayer balance patch is live. The meta has shifted quite a bit. Once again, mech has become very popular to play at the highest level. Broodlord Infestor is gone. The new Lurker Viper styles have been really exciting to watch. But today, we're gonna kick it down a notch. Today, it's time for a viewer-submitted game. That does not mean we're gonna have any less fun, because usually these matches, well, they can be infuriating. They can be a little bit cringy as well, but they are a ton of fun to watch. So here we go. Bottom left-hand corner of World of Sleepers. We have the Gold League Protoss, who goes by the name of Wolf's Butcher. That's a badass name, Wolf's Butcher. His opponent in the opposite corner playing with the blue Terran SCVs. Likewise, also in Gold League, we're looking inside of the main base of Chubbs. With double B and double S, just to make sure that it's like a 7-letter word with one vowel sound. Very, very cool. Alrighty, so here we go. Now, one of the changes that I've heard a lot about, that's especially frustrating apparently, when you go on the lower end of the ladder, is flux veins. Especially in like 3v3s and 4v4s. Apparently it's a bit of a disaster. It's this new upgrade that has been added to the Void Ray, or it's actually an old upgrade. It used to be around back in the day. During Wings of Liberty and whatnot. But Flux Veins, it's basically a speed increase for the Void Ray. Apparently, it's especially a disaster. The lower you go onto the ladder, because people just simply don't really know how to counter it. Now, he's going up to 400 minerals. I don't... Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. I was going to say, I don't see a probe moving in the bottom left-hand corner of the mini-map. I guess that Wolf's Butcher over here has been inspired by none other than Florencio himself. First off, decides to, for some reason, steal the assimilator or the gas right over there, and then he decides to also, like, well, build a pylon over there, which achieves absolutely nothing. That he's leading this Marine right now towards the Nexus. But I don't really know exactly, what's the idea behind this? Is he just trying to, like, buy time here? I'm not entirely sure. So he's inspired by Florencio, who was doing the same thing, where essentially what you want to do, right? You want to plant down a Nexus inside of your opponent's main base. Doesn't really matter too much if they scout it, because they're not going to be able to kill it anyway. And then you want to recall all of the units from your main base to watch your opponent's main base instead. Now, in the meantime, by the way, Chubbs, who apparently saw what was going on inside of his main, at the very least, well, with the exception of that Nexus, he saw that something was not quite right. He keeps on rallying SCVs for no apparent reason, losing hundreds of minerals so far just because of missed mining time. And anyways, he decided to now also plant down a command center in the bottom section of the map. Nexus is gonna finish up. It will have 50 energy. The recall has to happen here. Come on, send in the boys. Why are you trying to stack them up together? It doesn't matter. There we go. Recall indeed will be utilized. And he's gonna start fighting the Terran player from the inside out. Immediately, Chubbs, who has been very quick when it comes to responding here in the first place, does decide to pull the boys. I don't think you want to fight there, my man. There's a couple of Zealots in there. Yeah, those Zealots don't mess around. They deal so much damage to the SCVs. Workers will fall very, very quickly, as Wolf's Butcher is killing them pretty much all at the same time. Now, there is that orbital command available. Obviously, I don't really know exactly how Wolf's Butcher is gonna continue playing this, because the thing is, even when you kill Terran's economy, if they have those juicy yellow mining machines and a command center generating energy, they will always be ready to get back into the game, especially in low eco scenarios. So even though all of the workers just went down, right? Is there still a Terran? Well, there's 4 SCVs remaining. Most of them are actually on the other side of the map right now, in that proxy expansion. But most of the time, right, if you're the Terran player here, you don't really mind it too much. One mule mines for about as much as, like, I think like 6 or 7 workers or so. So they mine quite significant. By the way, they changed the math on that at some point, so I'm not entirely sure if that number is entirely accurate. But long story short, 2 mules will mine more than all of Wolf's Butcher's net worth right now. Especially when you start, like, long distance mining. I guess sending them all the way back home is pretty annoying. Oh my god, I'm already cringing, guys. We're only 4 minutes into this one. We're 4:20 into it, and Lowko is already cringing. Coincidence? I think not. Alright. So, what Wolf's Butcher does not quite realize is that there's another base somewhere. Ooh, Chubbs actually. Oh, Chubbs. Oh, Chubbs! Ooh, Chubbs made an engineering bay? And he's actually now loaded up the SUVs into that command center, which indeed you can do when it's a command center. I think he might be going for a Planetary Fortress. If you go for a Planetary Fortress, Oh my god, please do. Oh yes, here we go. He does decide to go for the Planetary Fortress. Thanks, I hate it. That's amazing. Both players here are now long distance mining the opponent's main base. This is a little bit confusing. They're just sharing the mineral patch, man. That's the true love of the TVP right there. Sharing a mineral patch. I was talking about flux veins. This seems completely unnecessary. In the meantime, by the way, this command center is still accumulating energy. I wouldn't even mind it if he like landed it, quickly spent the energy right over here, and then get back to it. But here we go. Planetary Fortress is killing the Nexus right now inside of the main base of Wolf's Butcher. You thought you were memeing your opponent? Well, think again. Oh my god, he's building another Nexus. This is now a macro Nexus, guys. You may be familiar with the concept of macro hatcheries. Right now, this Nexus is just here for, I don't know, I guess additional chrono boost. I mean, you know, you get a macro hatchery just because you want to get extra larva. A macro Nexus doesn't sound all too terrible. That's the 2020 meta right there. Although I'm pretty sure that it's a little bit too expensive. Although on paper, right, if you get it early, it might be doable. Might be something that's doable at the very least. But here we go. Main base of Wolf's Butcher is certainly going to be gone. There's not a whole lot you can do against Planetary Fortresses at this point in the game. It's actually kind of interesting. We have a base swap. If you skip like the first 6 minutes of this video, you probably would have assumed that the Protoss spawned in the top right and the Terran in the bottom left, right? Well, with the exception of the Nexus being here, but you get what I mean. There's actually a base swap happening right now, so I guess they can once again GLHF here and get this game underway. He really wants to land the command center right over where that Nexus is placed. And this is actually going to be pretty difficult to break. So where does this transition into right now? Wolf's Butcher finished up the Nexus, the second Nexus that is, in his opponent's main base. He still has those Zealots from earlier, but the Zealots aren't going to be able to achieve that much. Nexus, in the meantime, also falls. Command center trying to land where that Nexus was previously located. He's got 200 energy. Please land the mules. Chubbs, no, Chubbs, please. Chubbs, don't hurt me like this. Just, please drop the mules. Please just get it done, dude. Come on, dude. Come on. Oh, please drop them. Oh, you're not getting it. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. He's not generating any energy anymore, obviously, when it's full. There we go. The yellow mining machines back in action. Have a look right here at the income. Especially once these mules have made a couple of trips. 2 more are now joining the fray as well. That income is going to go heavily in favor here of the Terran player, who just a couple of minutes ago ended up losing pretty much all of his economy. All of the SCVs were dead. Doesn't really matter all too much. Look at that. Ugh. Infuriating, right? If you're a Protoss. It's all good, no? It's all good. Okay, so what are you gonna do, Wolf's Butcher? Your strategy was to try and kill your opponent, and then you found out, surprise, surprise. That's my shocked reaction. Terran buildings can fly. He decided to go for a bit of a cheeky build there. I think that build would have been fine if it wasn't against the Terran. Terran buildings, though, just fly away, right? It's kind of like... Why are we're typing LOLs? LOL! I guess he's just realizing what's going on here, where they essentially flip bases. It's kind of like cannon rushing a Terran opponent. There's no particular reason to cannon rush a Terran opponent, because they will just lift up and get on out of there, right? There are some moments where that might be viable, but most often, that's not really gonna be the case. Now, obviously, Planetary Fortresses cannot be lifted. So orbital commands can fly, command centers can fly. Planetary Fortresses, though, are going to be stationary. I mean, imagine if you could fly with those. That'd be pretty interesting. I wonder what his follow-up is going to be right now, though, because you can see Chubbs here. He is indeed already piling on the minerals. He's going up to nearly 1,000. Building up towards that starport here as well. In the meantime, though, on the other side of the map, of course, what did I expect? Wolf's Butcher opens up with a proxy Nexus. What is his follow-up plan going to be? Please tell me it's Void Race. I want to see Void Race so bad. People have said to me that apparently it's very, very difficult to counter if you don't have the best micro. So the thing is, and what I was trying to say earlier, please build Void Race, by the way, so I can talk about this a little bit more. Are you? There you go. Yes, he starts up a Void Ray. There we go. Okay, so apparently what it used to be like already, right? I don't play a lot of 3v3 and 4v4, but especially in team games, you apparently pretty much always have that one guy who's sitting on your side of the map, your one teammate, who's pretending he's playing a single-player game, and he's just sitting there macroing up Void Rays until he's maxed out. He doesn't care if your team dies, he doesn't really care about what's going on. By the way, good scan there by Chubbs, who now scanned his old main base, which I still think is pretty ironic. Please Chrono Boost, by the way. Chrono Boost would be nice. But apparently you always have that one guy who's just pretending to be single player and, well, he's just maxing out on Void Rays. Apparently with the new patch that now makes the Void Rays much faster, you do need to get a fusion, not a fusion core, the fleet beacon for that. You need to get a fleet beacon in order to get that upgrade. But apparently that new upgrade basically makes that kind of strategy, that kind of turtle style, even more prevalent. Now, there are plenty of counters available for both Terran and Zerg to deal with Void Rays, but they do require a little bit of micro, which obviously on the lower end of the ladder is not something that we see all too often. So, Void Rays are really good against everything. It's a good follow-up, especially after, like, you know, cannon rushing or cheesing in particular, because these units can be worth their weight in gold, especially if your opponent decides to get really aggressive. Now, in the meantime, on the other side of the map, we have more command centers coming up. But more importantly, there's now also a battlecruiser in production. Another proxy Nexus here. Apparently this one is also going to recall a couple of the excess amount of probes that were inside of that main base. This now means that Wolf's Butcher is going to be able to continue mining from an expansion that will likely also not be scouted. And actually, all kidding aside, right? I love this patrolling that's going on here. He's scouting extremely aggressively where his opponent might be expended, with the exception of the most likely expansion, his old main natural. Or his old, you know, natural here himself. So, Chubbs actually wanted to, like... Oh. Where are you gonna go with that base? Why are you guys not taking the naturals? What's up with this? Like, do you not like this location? Does it not have, like, proper plumbing or something? Like, what's the issue? I wouldn't want to live in a place without proper plumbing either, so maybe that's the reason, right? Like, I don't know what's going on. Anyways, battlecruiser is now available. +1 air weapons coming up here as well for Protoss. No fleet beacon yet, though. Who's once again skipping the natural? Why are you skipping the natural? What's going on with this? Oh, dude, 200 IQ moving coming, okay? So, Chubbs at this point, here's what I want him to do. He knows his opponent is making Void Rays. He's baiting him with the command center. This is the command center bait. As soon as the command center gets attacked, he jumps in with the battlecruiser, okay? Okay. Here we go. It does get found. That is gonna die for sure. Please jump in. Please tell me this was intentional. It's not intentional, was it? I don't think it was intentional. Oh man, I thought it was actually pretty clever for him to send it over there and then go into the main base. Medevac being loaded up right now as well with what is going on in this game? A medevac is loaded up with 8 SCVs right now. Battlecruiser is flying behind it as well. I guess he can use this to, like, repair his units. Yeah, I guess the battlecruiser can be repaired. The thing is, though, Void Rays, especially with prismatic alignment, can shut down air units really easily. And that's the strength of Void Rays, right? Like, they're easy to micro. They look badass as well. He's boosting that medevac really far forward. Okay. And now the battlecruiser decides to jump in. This was really weird. But I guess this will be okay right now. He's gonna unload, I guess, the SCVs and then start repairing the battlecruiser. I think that's the idea. I don't know if you want to go after pylons, though. I really feel like you should just go ahead and kill the opponent's probes instead. Seems like a much smarter decision. At the same time, though, rather than recalling Wolf's Butcher right now, even though recall is available, he's instead gonna go for the counterattack. There are a couple of Widow Mines set up. There's a Viking over here as well, a bunch of missile turrets. I think that, yeah, Chubbs is gonna have a pretty straightforward time. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh god. I feel like Chubbs is gonna have an alright time, especially if he just keeps burrowing. Just keep burrowing. There you go. Yeah, that was a pretty bad decision there, right? So how many Void Rays have gone down? 5 at this point. They've practically killed nothing. In the meantime, the battlecruiser is still working on these pylons. What are you doing? Why are you building a photon cannon, dude? Ay. Oh my, dude, all of the Void, no! Don't tell me all the Void Rays die here too. What did he even kill? Like, what was just killed? 3 missile turrets and a factory? I think that was it, right? Maybe a supply depot? A couple of Widow Mines, I guess, but like... That was pretty much the worst trait you could get, especially with a battlecruiser inside of the main when you could have recalled. Ay. I think that Wolf's Butcher, though, is the kind of guy who does proxy Nexus proxy, you know, photon cannon rushes and like proxy void rays pretty much every single game. I mean, what is next in the Protoss Book of Cheese? Oh my god, he's retaking the main. Is that what he's trying to do? He's retaking the main base. Get off my lawn. I was gonna say though, the next step right here in the big Protoss Book of Cheese, after photon cannon rush, Nexus rush, and like proxy void ray, right? It would definitely be Dark Templar. It would definitely be Dark Templar. I don't know though. Oh my god. You know what? He was not a fan of the base swap. The base swap apparently was not what he was looking for. He wants to go ahead and have both corners of the map. Even though this map is a square and there's like, you know, other corners too, he really likes his starting location, okay? It's probably got to do with plumbing. At least that's my strategy here. Neither player really wants to take the natural. Naturals are apparently overrated. Everyone's just taking expansions left and right. Fair enough, but he really wants to retake the main base again. Builds up a command center right now. Yo, can you please, just for the lulz, okay? Could you please go ahead and make a planetary fortress over here too? Why are you making probes? Oh my god, he's making probes while rallying them on top of the SCV. This is so dumb. I hate it and I love it at the same time. Planetary Fortress, I would like to see it. There we go, by the way. SCVs now need to be pulled. There's a medevac. There's a medevac healing that one SCV. Oh my god, that one got ganged up on as well. Not a chance in hell, buddy. It's not gonna happen. Oh my god, dude. Look at all of these. Look at these bullying SCVs. We need to get an anti-bullying campaign over here in StarCraft, man. Those SCVs are killing the other workers. Alright, so additional battlecruisers are now being produced. Main base is gone. Production of the Protoss is essentially, like, down to a trickle too. He's misplaced the Nexus over here as well. He's going for a bunch of photon cannons, even though he knows that those units that are attacking him fly, so they can just, like, scoot behind it. He's crossing his fingers and hopes that his opponent is just gonna attack these photon cannons instead. Now, what are gonna be your attacking units, Wolf's Butcher? What is your plan right now, right? He's like, okay, I've gone photon cannons, I've gone void rays. You know, you have to go Dark Templar. That's the only plausible explanation right now for your next course of action, okay? Now, you do need to make that decision pretty soon, because your tech is about to go down. Actually, target firing down the cybernetic score here would be quite annoying. Okay, he's gonna retake the main base, by the way. This is kind of like the Legacy of the Void cinematic, except with Terran. Today, we reclaim our homeland, and with it, our honor. Well, here we go. Something like that, right? I don't know what the exact speech is anymore. From Cringe, Artanis, not Cringe Tanis, from Artanis. That battlecruiser, by the way, has been putting in a lot of work, right? I mean, 28 kills is not the most amount of kills I've seen for a battlecruiser, but it certainly killed a lot. In the meantime, by the way, a couple of other battlecruisers now jump towards the top left-hand corner of the map. They're gonna start working on this newly acquired expansion, and indeed those photon cannons that are completely irrelevant. Like, I don't even know what the idea was. Like, he was crossing his fingers, hoping his opponent would fly into them. What was even the point with that? He's going back to additional Stargates right now. I guess his win condition at this point is to try and hope his opponent doesn't, like, do anything anymore. In the meantime, Chubbs, by the way, did take the natural. Despite the plumbing situation, he did decide to take... Well, actually, hold up. This is his opponent's natural. Never mind, I misspoke. It kind of looks like he took his natural, but this is his natural. There's a pylon over there. Triple Stargate, though, is going to be the follow-up. That battlecruiser is doing a lot of work, though. That's the one from earlier, the OGBC. It's going to rank up to 40 kills here in a little bit. I think that's going to be our commanding officer from here on out. Because the thing is, for Protoss, I don't see a single way that he could obtain the victory here unless he's left alone for like 10 minutes and he can max out on Void Rays. Which, you know, because this is not like a 3v3 or 4v4, it's very unlikely to happen. Oh my god. I do love the fact, though, that like a Nexus and a command center have somehow some way found peace with this scenario. There's a couple of assimilators set up as well, but I think the real battle is happening up north. Wolf's Butcher types GG, and Chubbs is the one who obtains the victory. What a silly game. So sick. I hope that you enjoyed watching this video as well. If you did, make sure you hit that like button down below. If you would like to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get notifications as soon as future videos go live. If you have an awesome game of StarCraft that you've played recently yourself as well, you can submit it to replays at LowkoTV, and maybe I will make fun of your game next. Okay, like there's a chance that can happen. So you can submit it to replays at LowkoTV. And last but not least, I also wanted to give a quick shout out to the Patreon supporters. Thank you very much for the generosity. But for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? And I will see you once again in the next one.